So I'm the last one, Mr. Chairman?
Yeah, you're worth waiting for.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for waiting, and thank you, all of you, for being here today. It's an important hearing. Secretary Beiser, so I want to begin by talking about PFAS contamination in drinking water. I imagine that may have come up already. And as a member of the group of 11 Republicans and 11 Democrats that worked to negotiate the bipartisan infrastructure law, one of the top priorities, my top priorities here, was dedicated funding for drinking water systems to respond to PFAS contamination. It's a problem in Arizona, but it's also a problem across the country. You know, thanks to our bipartisan law, more than $10 billion is being allocated to drinking water systems across the country to address this contamination. And in the state of Arizona, this funding's already been put to work helping drinking water systems, specifically in the southern part of the state, to install systems to remediate this growing PFAS plume that we see in the groundwater aquifer under where I live and where my wife lives, my granddaughter, who's 2. It's under Tucson. And since the infrastructure law was passed, the EPA has developed new drinking water standards for PFAS, and the new proposed maximum containment level would be 4 parts per trillion instead of the current guidance, which is 70, so much lower. So Secretary Beiser, while the EPA has not yet finalized its drinking water standards, if the proposed levels were finalized, how would that impact our drinking water systems, and how many additional systems in the state of Arizona, as an example, would be required to do this PFAS cleanup?
Senator Kelly, first of all, thank you for your question and thank you for your leadership on this very, very important topic. I can speak to North Carolina's experience with that, and we have 43 of our large municipal and county systems that would not meet the 4 parts per trillion number that you cited as the proposed MCL. I will say, though, broadly speaking, what's needed is, North Carolina got a head start because we had an industrial facility that kind of forced us to be a leader in this area and learn a lot quickly. And so we've had a number of years to do assessments. I think nationwide, states need funding to do assessments to get a handle on where PFAS is. The most cost-effective way to treat it is actually to prevent it from happening in the first place. And so we need funding to see where it's coming from, because the first step is to put down the shovel and stop digging, stop putting it into the environment, and look at how we can better control that piece of it. We also need to get a handle on where we're finding it. And so North Carolina's done extensive testing, both in large water systems, but also in small. We're in the process right now of testing over 650 of our small water systems, which serve mobile home communities, churches, daycares, other sensitive population centers. And so having the funding, having the ability to do that comprehensively is going to help us get our arms around it overall, and also ultimately decrease the amount of treatment costs that we're going to have associated with making sure that our drinking water is safe for public health.
Do you have a sense in North Carolina then how you would have to scale the removal system to get from 70 to 4? Like, how many more systems would you have to add, and what do you think that cost would be?
So since there's not currently a drinking water standard, there had not been a lot of systems that were currently put into place. We do have 2 water systems that are larger that, because of PFAS contamination, that they were higher levels of PFAS contamination coming from the Cape Fear River. They had both put in place, one a reverse osmosis system and another a granular activated carbon system. So those are our 2 examples that we're looking to right now. Based on their experience and the costs associated with the implementation of those systems, we're estimating between $661 million and $1.3 billion for those 43 large water systems to come into compliance to be able to meet the 4 parts per trillion number. That does not include the small water systems that are going to need to put filtration in place. And so we don't have a number there yet, because we're still, results from those tests are starting to roll in, but we don't have a complete picture.
And do you know of any other, are there any future methods to remove PFAS, anything that is being developed, or any innovation out there that could get us to 4 parts per trillion at a potentially a lower cost?
Sure. So the reverse osmosis systems and the granular activated carbon systems are the two most commonly and very efficient measures that we have available to us today. I know there's a lot of research and development that's ongoing. I know within our university system, they're looking at potential opportunities, but there are none that are scalable and that I'm aware of that are commercially and available in a widespread fashion yet. But I am encouraged that we have a lot of research and development going. I think we need more research and development, not only on the treatment systems themselves, but also how to assess and treat the spent media associated with those so that we have the ability to destroy the PFAS and not just perpetuate it within the environment.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.